Alright, well, welcome back to Swim Shiz. This is Shiz About Swim, as you know. Well, that's basically the channel name. Um, yeah. Basically, I have 4 minutes recorded of states. Um, I think it's just final, so it's not even worth editing or anything. So, this is posted 2 days later of the quote unquote weekly uploads. So, this is kind of suck, but hey, I'm gonna make it work. Um, there's gonna be more like actual swimming related stuff. It's just today I have no other clips, so we're gonna do a goggle tier list. Woo yeah. Anyways, um, pretty much these are goggles. I'm ranking. This is my personal opinion, right? I've owned a bunch of goggles. I still own a bunch of goggles. I rotate them during like practice, swim, like at a swim meet or championship meet, and yeah, pretty much I have a rotation of goggles. Some of them are in here, some of them not. Um, and some of these I've used in the past, and yeah. Mind you, I am a high school swimmer. I'm not a D1 athlete. I am not a Olympic swimmer. Um, so this is my personal opinion on goggles, right? If you get offended, I'm sorry. This is like again my personal opinion. I hope you don't get offended. And yeah, let's get started. So I'm gonna be ranking these based on looks, which also comes with comfort. Features like anti-leak and anti-fog, because those are pretty much essentials, and cost, right? How much do these goggles cost? Obviously on sale, not on sale, right? Basically the most important parts come to comfort, anti-leak for the water, and anti-fog. Anti-fog is not really much as important, but still it's kind of annoying as a swimmer to have your goggles fog up all the time. And anti-leak, well, you don't want your goggles falling off when you dive in. And comfort, you want to have a pair of comfortable goggles that you can swim like a 1650, or even if you're just swimming a 50, just you want to be comfortable, right? I'm also gonna go over price, if they're on sale or not, how much you get them for sale, how much is retail. But yeah, those are factors coming into the God tier, S tier, A tier, and yeah, etc. Tantos corazones. So I have a list on a separate screen, and I'm gonna go based on that. And so our first up is the Speedo Socket 2s. You can also compare them with the ones. They're pretty much the same thing, just a few more upgrades. But pretty much you can get them for 45 retail. They go for like 30 bucks on Amazon on sale. Bunch of colorways. They're really a great goggle. I use them for practice, strictly just practice, because I honestly like other goggles that look better for racing, right? When it comes to swim, we don't really have like anything that's quote unquote fashionable, right? So it means just a swimsuit, cap, and goggles. That's about it. So goggles is basically our fashion, right? Also with tech suits and caps, but pretty much they honestly, in my personal opinion, they don't look that bad. They look pretty good. Um, I honestly recommend them to anyone who starts off at swimming. Get these instead of your just regular Amazon goggles. I would definitely put these at A tier. Next up from Speedo, we have the Biofuse 2.0. There's just no need. I supposedly they're pretty good. They're comfortable. They're great for adjustability. Um, I'm gonna be honest, they're not really for swim, like competitive swim. They're 35 bucks, so they're pretty cheap. I recommend them if you're gonna swim leisurely or in the ocean, right? If you're just starting out and you don't want to swim competitive, these are some great goggles to pick up. Yeah, they're pretty good for just daily use of going to your community pool. The Vanquisher, one of the greatest, or the most popular actually, most popular goggles in swimming, right? These and the Cobras are one of the most popular goggles in swimming, not just in my opinion, but literally, like if you look at sales, they are one of the most popular ones, right? When it comes to competitive swimming, I'm not talking about your Amazon like top picks or whatever. I'm talking as a swimmer, right? What goggles have I seen the most of? I've seen a lot of Vanquishers. I've seen a lot of Cobras. Pretty much, they're great all around. They're 30 bucks. You can probably get them for a little bit cheaper. Comes in a lot of colorways. They're currently on the 3.0 model. I got the 2.0 model and the original one. And honestly, they're exactly the same. I haven't tried the threes, but all I can say is they're great goggles, right? To start off, um, they're pretty good for racing. If you want just a normal pair or a backup pair, I would recommend these. Um, Good anti-leak. Anti-fog after a year gets really spotty. Like sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. That's why I'd actually give this you know what? I'm gonna move up the speed sockets to an S tier and then move this up to an A tier. Because don't get me wrong, I would recommend these 100% if you're just starting out swim competitively. Um, but personally, I'd choose the speed sockets over the Vanquishers any day of the week. Next from Speedo, we have the kids goggles, SKOOGLES. Um, there's no need said, God tier, right? Um, they're just great, honestly. The pink colorway, toughest colorway out there. There's nothing that can beat it. They got a lot of UV protection. It's great for kids, even for athletes. I feel like these make me faster. I dropped like 10 seconds in the 500 by just wearing these. And I dropped like 3 seconds in the 50 free. These honestly are the best goggles you can ever buy. Next pair we have is the Swedes. Now, Swedish goggles or Swedes are quote unquote the old school goggles, unk status goggles, right? You might see this at your local community pool or lap swim pool. You might just see some old head just wearing those, right? Um, Pretty much they're just Swedes. What can I say? They're pretty much the same thing across all three brands. Um, Arena and Tier. Well, I know for a fact Arena has some padding on their Swedes, but Tier I have no clue because I have not tried the Tier or the Speedo Swedes. Now, just like another pair of goggles on this list, they don't really come with padding, right? So it's just straight plastic on your eyes, right? Usually they do this to make it light. Damn. They usually do this to make these goggles light. I actually have no clue why, but they're pretty much the goggles, right? So Speedo ones, I mean, they're on sale for 12.50. You can get a 2-pack for 25. They're pretty much pretty cheap. You get two pairs of goggles for like the price of one. Um, Honestly, I've seen backstrokers use these the most. But still, I'd give these a B tier because, well, don't get me wrong, they're cheap. They'll make you look like an unk, but they're just normal. Here are the tier ones. I will say I do like the arena suites a little bit better, so I'm gonna put them above the rest. I'm gonna switch these out. But yeah, um, you can get these in any color, um, any not really any design, but the nose piece is a little bit different depending on which brand you get. But I don't know, it's not my favorite type of goggles. But they're always well respected because they're unk status. All right, and that concludes our Speedo section. Now we're going on to Arena. So, personally, I'm a Speedo fanboy. And don't get me wrong, I do respect Arena goggles and tech suits, right? Arena's great company. I'm just personally a fanboy of Speedo. But doesn't matter. I do own a couple of Arena goggles myself. And we're going to start off with the Cobra Edge Swipe. I don't own these at all because who the frick is paying $110, right? I honestly would not pay this much for a pair of goggles, right? Because they're basically just an upgraded or quote unquote upgraded version of the Cobra Ultras. They just look a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more geometrical. They come with a bunch of colorways, and don't get me wrong, they look amazing, right? My favorite ones is the Emerald Peacock ones, and the Violet Whites or Violet White and Black. The Popovich ones are also really nice. But pretty much they're basically the same goggle as Cobra Ultras. Would I spend $110? No. Now, I will say Arena might just be the king of anti-fog, right? Their anti-fog is absolutely amazing, right? Um, they've I've had a pair for like 2 years now, and they absolutely like the anti-fog is just completely the same as the first time I ever used them, right? They don't really fog up usually, but when they do, all you need to just take them off, put them in the water, and swipe. Absolutely no fog at all, right? Arena's anti-fog or the swipe technology is really good. Um, but these pairs, the Cobra Edges, I would not put these at A. I'd put these at B. If they were the same price as the Cobras or a little bit less, I justify it, right? These I recommend these if you're a professional swimmer or you get the money to splurge, right? If you want to flex, go ahead, right? If you get these as a gift, take them honestly, because these would be an S tier, right? If they were free. If you got them for free, just go ahead and take them. Like, if you had a choice between the Cobra Edges or the Cobra Ultras as a gift, looks is up to you, but I'd go for the Edges. They look pretty nice, right? But yeah, I just can't justify the $110 price tag. The Cobra Ultras, right? The quote unquote younger brother to the Cobra Edge and quote unquote the older brother to the Cobra Cores, right? Honestly, these are the original top of the line goggles by Arena. They are great. They're pretty much perfection, right? You can get them for like around 66, 67. My bad. They're $80 retail, but you can get them for like $60 on sale. They come in a bunch of colorways. They look amazing. Again, god tier anti-fog from Arena. You have the swipe technology built in. You have the anti falling off things on the sides, as well as the Cobra Edge. These honestly S tier for the price. When you get them on sale, they are just the best, right? They're good looking. They're comfortable. They are a little bit stiff, I will say, on the padding and the sides, and the goggles might be a little bit tight because, well, the elastic thing is a little bit weird. But honestly, I love them. I use them when I race. Not really when I use them at practice because they are pretty nice. So obviously they're race goggles, right? But you can 100% use them for practice. They will last you a long time. I've had buddies who've had a pair for 2 years and they're so completely fine, right? Um, but yeah, honestly, if you get them for like $60, go get them because they're honestly great. I have nothing bad to say about them. I do own a pair. Actually, I own this colorway exact, and I love them. Right. One thing I will say is with some of these Merit goggles, they are a little bit darker than the others, right? Um, this exactly. This will be a little bit darker than if you get the diamond version or the diamond colorway. Um, it's a little bit weird when it comes to the tinting and the mirror, but still, I honestly recommend them. They're great. But yeah, next goggles. And now we have the Cobra Cores. I like them. I have a pair. Um, do I recommend getting these? I mean, they're around the same price, right? They're retail for $70, which do not get them for 70. It's not worth it for $70. They are on sale for 56 on Arena right now. You can get them probably a little bit cheaper. They're pretty much the exact same as the Cobra Ultras, just without the side bars of, you know, anti-fall. I don't know what to call them. They have a name. I just don't remember it. But pretty much, they're great. Honestly, great starters. Um, I put it at A tier just because you have the Cobra Ultras for around the same price. There is no beating the Cobra Ultras, right? Obviously, the speed sockets do, but that's again personal preference, right? Those two are like great goggles, right? Um, and don't get me wrong, the A tier goggles also pretty good, and the Cobra Ultras, I mean Cobra Edges, but just because of the price, right? The Cobra Cores basically again same as the Ultras, just without the sidebars. They do fit a little bit better, I will say. They are a little bit wider and like lens wise, like from here to here. You know, and you can see that, but they're pretty good. They're a little bit more comfortable. The cushion's a little bit softer on those ones. But again, so great pair of goggles. Would I choose these over the ultras? No. If you can shell out the 10 extra bucks, get the ultras 100%. There's no reason why you should not get the ultras. These do come in a lot more colors than the ultras. Um, Personally, I I'd say if you want a lot more colors, get the cores. If if you're satisfied with the colors that you have on the ultras, get the ultras, right? Next we have the pythons, right? So these are all again from Arena. I'm I'm mixed on these, right? I've had friends. So here's the thing, right? I've tried them. I don't own a pair. I have tried them twice, actually three times. I have three friends who have a pair. One of them is now using the air speeds, which is two goggles from now. Um, one of them currently uses them. During his high school season, he got them last year, yeah. So this past swim season, he's been using them a lot. And I remember my freshman year, my captain, he wore them. Well, he had them on his back. He always wore the Vanquishers from Speedo. So that's the first time when I tried them, and they're weird, right? They still have the anti-fog system from Arena, which is great. Um, they are pretty wide, like in the socket. Like they are pretty wide, so they will fit a bunch of eyes. I just don't like. Don't get me wrong; they have amazing colors. They look great. Just personally, me, I don't like them. They're $34 for retail. You can get them on sale for $24. Not much of a price drop, but still, like honestly, solid pair of goggles. Personally, I'm not a fan of them, but doesn't mean I'm gonna put them in B tier. I'm gonna put them in A tier just because they are pretty good. If they fit you and you like how they feel, 100% get them. They're pretty great racing goggles. Just I personally me wouldn't get them. Just I don't like how they feel on my face. The Cobra Swipe or the originals, I'm not really sure on these. They're weird. They look a little bit goofy. I don't know what to say. Um, they come in a bunch of colors. They're a little bit expensive. They retail for 70. You can get them for 56 on sale right now. They look weird. Honestly, I I have no words. Honestly, I've seen these. Actually, you can get them for 49. Depends what color you get. Depends on the price. Oh, I forgot to say that as well. Goggles depends on what color you get. Also depends on the price. Sometimes they have sale on that color or this color, but not that one. So again, you can get them around a certain price. Honestly, for the price, I wouldn't get them. They're like over expensive. I'll put them in B tier just because they're a great goggle. They're a great pair of goggles. My bad, but again, you still have the anti fall brackets on these. Um, you have the anti fog swipe technology from Arena. They have some pretty good colors. I wouldn't get them personally. I don't like how they look, but again, for $50, they're not bad. I'll put these down here. If you like how they look, get them. Again, they're pretty good goggles. Just personally, I don't like the looks of them, so that's why they're scoring at the B tier. Next, we have the Air Bolts from Arena. They're 40. They're $55 retail. You can get them for like $40. Um, I put these with the C tier. I put these with the Biofuse. They're not your racing goggles. They're mostly just to go to the pool. Just I don't know, just get a workout in. I they're not racing goggles. That's all I can say. For the price, they're not bad. Again, the Cobra, not the Cobra, the anti fog swipe technology. It's just god tier. But again, they're just casual goggles just to go to the pool. They're not racing goggles at all. So that's why they get a C tier. And now to conclude with the air speeds. These are kind of weird, right? They look pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like the little hexagons that they have, they look pretty cool. Now you can't really see it on this right here, but they look pretty cool. They're not bad. They're like $30. Retail is 42. Honestly, they are pretty comfortable. They have some like technology going on with the hexagons to make it comfortable and stuff like that. They have a pretty decent amount of colors. They do look great. Honestly, that gets an A tier for me. A tier for me. Oh God, I can't speak. Um, I have three buddies who wear them, and they love them. They actually have 20 pairs. Well, two of them are siblings, so they have 20 pairs in combined total. Um, like they only use two, but they have like a bunch more if their goggles die out. But yeah, they're pretty much great. No complaints. I've tried them on. They're pretty comfortable. Honestly, for the price, you can't beat them. I will say they don't have the anti fall off brackets on the side, but still, like they have pretty good suction. They're pretty comfortable, good anti fog and everything. So yeah, I'd 100% get them. Dun, 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 tier. Um, Actually, fun fact is my first pair of quote unquote racing goggles was tier. They are the tier Stealth X mirrored goggles, right? And I'm not gonna lie, tier, you might have stolen from Arena. I don't know which came first. Um, I'll do my research and probably put in like a little screen that says which one came first. But honestly, when it comes to the Stealth X and the Stealth Tracer, oh no, the Tier Tracer X Elite, they're pretty much the same as the Arena goggles. Now, I will say the Stealth X does have an advantage when it comes to price. They're $45. I'm not sure how much they can go on for sale, but let me check real quick. But yeah, you can get them for like $30. They're not bad. I've never tried the Stealth X, but from what I can tell, they look pretty much the same as the Cobra cores. Um, they have liquid fit gaskets. I have no clue. Some people like them as their race goggles, practice goggles. Now, mind you, all of these are race goggles, but you can also use them in practice, right? So I put these in B tier just because they kind of resemble the Cobra cores, and for a price, like around the same price as you get them on sale, right? Not bad. They just they look like not a carbon copy, but they look like a copy of the Cobra cores. So not a big fan of that. Now talking about a replica, the tier tracers are definitely a copy of the Cobra's core. I mean ultras. Damn. Um Again, I have no clue which one came first. I'll get onto that. I'll put it in the video. But for $75, I mean, you can get these on sale for I'm pretty sure around $60. Yeah, you can get them for like $56, $50. Not worth it. Honestly, they look cool, yes, but I would definitely choose the Cobras over these any day of the week. I've had some bad experiences with anti-fogs on tier. They probably fix it since the last time I owned a pair. Just get the Cobras, honestly. They're just much better. And next we have the tier Black Hawk. 30 beans, 27.50. I really have no clue on these goggles. Like I've not tried them. I've seen them a lot. Pretty much just, I guess your basic goggles, right? They're great for training. They say they're great for competition for the price. And solely for the purpose that I have not tried these at all, I'll put these at B tier. I've never tried them. Looks wise, they look like Vanquishers, but just like a little bit more rounded. There's other goggles I choose over them for the same price, but for the price, you really can't go wrong. I'd give them a B tier. And probably one of the best goggles you can ever get is the tier Swimple goggles. Now, these honestly, they're absolutely amazing, right? You get these for $16. Stylish, looks the best. This gives you like a 5 second like drop in time. It's amazing. I get these. They're just god tier, they're just goated. And the last tier goggle that we have is the Black Ops 140. Now you can get these pretty much anywhere. 32.50. You can get them for lower than that. You can get them for like $25 or even $20. I've heard a lot of good things about them. I have friends who wore them. The only tier goggle that will make it to the A list. Personally, they don't look that bad to me. They're a little bit chunky. They're a little bit more similar to the Vanquishers than they are to the other ones. And you know what? They're not bad. I'm pretty sure I haven't tried the pair, but they're still pretty good. I have a bunch of friends who wear them. I know a bunch of people who wear them. They like them. The anti-fog on tier is a little bit spotty, but just for the price, looks You can get them in a bunch of colors. I'd give them an A tier.
And his name is John C.
Now we're going on to one of my favorite pair of goggles that I own. They are absolutely stylish. You can get them for around $30 on Amazon. They're $45 on the official Mizuno website. This is quote unquote a niche brand for swimming. They are the Mizuno GX Sonic. These, you don't really see them a lot. I've probably seen one other person in real life wear them. Maybe two, three actually. Two of them are my teammates because I somehow convinced them to. And the other one was my former captain, Elliot Lee. I remember I tried his pair originally during my freshman year. I did not like them because they were uncomfortable because, well, these have no silicone padding on them at all. So it's just straight plastic on like your eye socket. Now I grew into them because I bought myself a pair. They look amazing. They do get scratched easy, which kind of sucks, but once you put them in water, you can't tell they're scratched. They are amazing. Surprisingly, they don't leak at all. The anti-fog is amazing. I'm not gonna just lie, like it's just amazing. I personally would put these in S tier, but because you have to have like a specific eye shape, I would have to put these at a B tier, put them at a low B tier, just for the sole reason that it's just they're not really comfortable for everyone, right? This isn't really worth it unless you have the eyes for them. I love these. I only race in them. I've practiced in them a few times. By strictly only racing these, I love how they look. For the price, I would put these at S tier for racing, but just how you have to have certain eyes and they will hurt for a bunch of people, that I will have to put these at a low B tier. Now this pair of goggles came out like a few months back. They're the Mizuno GX Sonic Eyes. Kind of weird because these ones right here, I'm pretty sure they were originally called that, but I have no idea what happened with the naming system. The GX Sonic Eyes, which are now these, they're $50. Um, they don't look that bad, honestly. They do have padded cushioning, so it creates a tight seal. They're a lot more comfortable. These would probably be more for like, they're still for racing, but they're more comfortable for everyone. $50, I don't know. There's not really many. There's not a single pair in the C tier. So just for being $50, I don't put them at C tier because again, there are way better goggles you can get for $50, a little bit more or a little bit less, right? Mizuno is more like a niche, quote unquote niche brand. They're mostly known for their tech suits rather than their goggles when it comes to, at least in the swimming world, right? You think of Mizuno, you think about the tech suits, right? Um, I'd like to see more colors from these. So far, they only have a blue, silver, and this pink colorway, which honestly, it's not bad, but they could have done better. And now the last pair of Mizuno goggles, they're $30. They're not bad. They look kind of funky. They kind of remind me of the Black Ops EV, but like just more chunkier. C tier. They don't look that bad, but still, it's just you can get better goggles for that price. It just doesn't make sense. And now we have the first ever pair of custom goggles, and probably the only pair of custom goggles on this list. These are the Magic 5 custom goggles. We get them in mirrored, regular. They're originally $90. You can get them for 72 on sale right now. I'd put these at a high B tier. They are worth it. I've heard they're pretty worth it. I've never tried them. So pretty much they focus on comfort. They focus on not like no leakage. Everything's perfect, right? It's quote unquote supposed to be the perfect goggle, right? They're great for training or racing. They're supposed to give you clear vision, no distractions, right? No leakage, no discomfort, nothing, right? And what's really interesting is that these are actually personalized to you. So you get to send in of like an AR image of your face, your eyes, and it'll get a custom mold for them, and that's pretty much it. So on the expensive side, but it is worth it. Another great thing about these pair of goggles, the Magic 5, is that they have the little side bands that the Cobra Ultra has and the Cobra Edge have. I mean, this goggle is pretty much great. If you have the money for them, I'd probably get these over the Edge. Yeah, actually, I put this high B tier. Actually, I'll move you up to an A tier. And finally, we have the Nike Vapors. These, honestly, $40. It's not worth it, honestly. This is a pair of goggles that you buy either because you're a Nike fanboy or you're just starting to swim or you're just going out to swim with friends for fun, just playing around in family swim, right? You could race in these. Would I race in these? Absolutely not. I do not trust these. I remember freshman year, a buddy of mine wore Nike goggles and he had a bunch of problems with them. So, I mean, even then, as a swimmer, you grow up with brands like Speedo, Tier, Arena, more accessible products, in my opinion. Now, as you can see, I have 3 goggles left, right? I completely forgot about these. You can find these on sale. And if you do, I'd say get them. These are amazing. Again, it comes down to like a little bit of your eye shape. I've seen a lot of Olympic swimmers wear these. They are actually great. They're really comfortable. They are a little bit close to your eyes, so if you have long eyelashes, you will feel it like go on the lens. But after all, like after that, it's a great pair of goggles, right? I own a pair of these in the silver mirrored colorway. They're great. I love the strap that they have, the IQ strap. It's honestly pretty advanced for like any pair of goggles. There's no like you don't have these things popping out your head. You don't have a bungee cord, nothing. You just slide it, tighten it. It's like a belt, pretty much. It's amazing. Um, Speedo really put a lot into it, and they actually delivered on this one. This was pretty great pair of goggles. Again, if you get them on sale, they're just amazing, right? This is Cobra Ultra tier level. And now we have these 2 pair of goggles. These 2 pair of goggles will always have a special place in my heart. Sadly, the first pair is these tier goggles. I will put them at D. I originally started on a swim team with these, and they were horrible. They were decently just good. Like the first 6 months or first year, they were pretty good at swimming, right? Wouldn't fall off. After that, they would fall off all the time. They would fog up easy. They would start leaking. If I dove off the block, they would fall off. And what's funny is they advertise these as performance goggles, like for racing and all that stuff. It's a lie. These were gifts from my parents. They gave these to me, and well, it still always has a special place in my heart because these are my original goggles that I started with. But at the same time, they're just not worth it. They have so many issues. Don't get me wrong, they're really comfortable, but all the other issues just it's a no-go for me. And these are actually not made anymore. Well, they are, but not with a Michael Phelps logo. These are the Aquasphere Michael Phelps goggles or Michael Phelps goggles. I remember I wanted a pair of Vanquishers. Again, I wanted a pair of Vanquishers so bad when I was younger. My parents would have get me them, but they did get me the Michael Phelps goggles, which is kind of weird. But I had a bunch of colorways. I had like a black smoke colorway. I had a blue and black lens colorway. The like the gold, the white and gold ones, the blue reflective mirrored ones. Those were my favorite pair. I actually lost those in Peru. I'm pretty sure, which is a bummer because I loved that pair so much. And a buddy of mine just gifted me his old pair, which is pretty much it is this exact same color of lens. Here's my problem with these Michael Phelps goggles, right? Same thing with the Mizuno GX Sonic. You need to have a specific pair of like specific eye shape because they do fit tight. They do fit like a little bit inwards of your eye. They are a really thick pair of goggles, right? I've had a pair for a year, and they started fogging up like crazy. Started leaking water. It's spotty, and it's not that wide when it comes to like horizontally from one side of your head to the other side of the head. They're pretty short. I honestly I'd put them at D tier because people are selling these on eBay for 130 and all this stuff, or like 50. They're not worth it. There's so many problems after a year. It's not really worth it. Um, Again, you can get better goggles.